Cyprus has got its bailout, but it comes at a price. The last-minute agreement struck in Brussels will result in the closure of Cyprus's second biggest bank. But Cyprus will, in return, get a huge loan to save its banking system. Wealthier Cypriots, however, will have to contribute some of their savings.
The ministers agreed to shut down Cyprus's second-largest bank, Laiki. So-called good assets will be folded into the country's largest bank, the Bank of Cyprus. They'll freeze deposits of more than 100,000 euros, $130,000 at that bank. The ministers agreed to protect deposits of less than 100,000 euros. Government leaders had proposed a tax of up to 9.9% on bank deposits, but last week Parliament rejected their plan. The European Central Bank had threatened to stop emergency funding by the end of the day if negotiators fail to reach a deal.
We reaffirmed today the importance of fully guaranteeing these deposits in the European Union. The agreement on and decisive implementation of the programme will enable Cyprus to return to a stable and normally functioning economic and financial environment as soon as possible. This is very much in the interest of the Cypriot people.
Deposits of under 100,000 euros in Cypriot banks will be secure. There's now no threat at all that they will be taxed. But Cyprus's second largest bank, Laiki, will be restructured. People with more than 100,000 euros will have to take what's called a haircut. That means they'll lose a significant chunk of their money. Over the weekend, the Central Bank of Cyprus moved to stop large cash withdrawals from the banks concerned. The daily limit will be 100 euros.
Disaster avoided for the many, maybe. Pain for the few, for sure. And a palpable sense of relief on the podium as Cyprus's finance minister promised the banks would reopen soon after the last-ditch deal on the EU bailout was clinched. Laiki Bank will go under along with thousands of jobs, but the alternative was truly horrendous for Cyprus.
Essentially, it's not that we won a battle, but we really have avoided a disastrous exit from the Eurozone.
Europe's sacrosanct 100,000 euro deposit guarantee's been maintained, but Cyprus is not yet off the hook.
I don't think there is any denying that the Cyprus people will have to go through some tough times and will suffer the consequences of a protracted period where wrong decisions were made.
Meanwhile, in order to get the full 10 billion bailout, Cyprus must shrink its banking sector, implement wide-reaching budget cuts and privatise state assets. The European Central Bank had threatened to cut crucial emergency assistance funding if no agreements had been found by Tuesday, a situation which would have seen the entire banking system collapse in Cyprus and the country's likely exit from the Eurozone.
Long lines all week at the ATMs of Cyprus's weakest bank, Laiki. Customers desperate to get as much cash as possible in case the bank collapses. At supermarkets, families stocking up, fearing the shelves will soon be empty. With all the banks closed, businesses can't pay for supplies and restock. Olga Kandinsky buying so much, she brought her 2 teenage sons to help.
Well, we are concerned that there will be shortages of food, so definitely we want to make sure I have a family, I have to feed my family.
Tonight, the president of Cyprus in Brussels, headquarters of the European Union, begging for a bailout for his country and its banks. No matter what, the country's once massive banking sector will shrink. Thousands of bank employees took to the streets this weekend to protest.
I'm going to lose every penny with no job, no pension, no money, nothing.
She and thousands of others at risk of losing their jobs.
This negotiation has been especially difficult because the Europeans are tired of bailouts. Cyprus is the 5th country to ask for money. But if they don't get a deal, their economy collapses. Businesses can't pay suppliers or employees if the banks stay closed. When it happened in Argentina in 2001, the people there were reduced to bartering for food.